We're back now with Dave Walton, who is from Direct Energy and who will show us some home energy tips here. Dave, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Say, it's new homeowners that need to be taught a lot of these fundamental things about home efficiency, correct?
That's right, especially if you've never owned a home before, and if you happen to move into an older home, a resale home, there's lots of little tips that the new homeowner should know about.
Yeah, stripping is one of the most basic, right? Doors, windows, that
That's right.
kind of thing?
Yep, absolutely. So as an example here, we've got a door. First thing I want to show you is the actual door sweep on this. And what we've got here is an existing door sweep, and I can put my hand here and you can actually see that a little bit of it's tearing away. That's just a small example. But also, you can't really see this too well, but I can feel underneath that it's wearing and then it's kind of stiff and brittle. So what you want to do is just get one of these, a replacement door sweep at your typical hardware store, local hardware store. And you can see this is quite pliable and it's flexible, and it's also, it's longer, so it's not worn. And all the homeowner needs to do is just take the old one off, cut this to the size of the door, and then install the new one just like that.
Right.
So,
applying caulking is an important thing to do as well, correct?
Oh, for sure. So this applies to both windows and doors, but I'll just use this door as an example. So what the homeowner wants to do is check to make sure there's a thin bead of caulking all the way around the wood trim of all your windows and doors. And this one here looks just fine. There's a very thin bead in there that I can see. But a real trick for homeowners is run your hand up across the top. What often happens is this gets missed. And I found some rather large gaps in here, and this is a great spot for homeowners to lose the warm air in the home, and you're just heating the outside. So taking a caulking gun and just a thin bead of caulking and running that right along the top of the door frame or window frame. And of course, you want to make sure you cut this relatively small so you keep the bead small as well.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference.
It really, what it does is it all adds up. If you look at all the leaks and cracks in a typical older Canadian home, you'll end up with a hole in it about the size of a basketball.
Wow.
Okay, so every little piece that you can do, every little thing you can do, helps to shrink that basketball down and really keep the home a lot more comfortable, and you're going to save energy and you're going to save dollars.
We're magically by the furnace now, Dave. How important is furnace efficiency, and what are the best ways to achieve that?
Well, the first thing that homeowners want to make sure they do is get an annual maintenance done. It's very important that the equipment is running as efficiently as possible. Yeah. And what a service technician will do is actually make sure it's operating to manufacturer specs, and of course they do safety checks for things like carbon monoxide as well.
That includes cleaning?
Yeah, so it's actually, we call it a maintenance, but yeah, it's a cleaning if it requires it inside the cabinet. But you raise a really good point. Part of the cleaning exercise that homeowners can do themselves, and this is very important, is they need to change the filter every 3 months, and that's all year long. So I've got this filter here, you can see. This one is not too bad, but just you can certainly see that it's a little bit grayer than this filter here. This is a brand new filter. So every 3 months, all year long, you want to replace this. And what this basically does, it helps to protect the internal components of the furnace from larger particulate and dirt getting into the cabinet.
Is this new filter a higher end one?
Yeah, this one here happens to be a higher end. This is about a $15 filter. This one here is probably about a $7 filter.
Yep, higher end is better?
Yeah, what you want to watch actually is what the furnace manufacturer recommends. There's different ratings on them, and you do want to make sure you get the one that works best with the furnace.
High efficiency new furnaces are important to have, right?
Absolutely. In this particular unit, this is a new high efficiency furnace. This is operating somewhere in the neighborhood of about 95% efficiency. And what that means is only 5 cents of every dollar is being wasted. If you've got an older furnace, probably 22, 23 years old, chances are it's operating at about 60% efficiency. And what that means, in simple terms, is 40 cents of every dollar you spend to heat your home is going right up the chimney. You're just wasting 40 cents of every dollar.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite significant, and it's very worthwhile. If that equipment is older, you would be wise to think about upgrading, especially if you're going to stay in the home, or for that matter, if you're thinking of selling the home, you might want to upgrade that equipment before you put the sign on the lawn.
Thanks, Dave. We'll be back with more in a minute.